Let's give this a try. We have a 2023 Triumph Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer, and it still has the stock handguards that everybody knows are just lovely. They're, I don't know, the Triumph should be embarrassed about including these on the bike. They're barely even good for wind protection. We've seen videos of these things snapping right off the first time you drop it and risk damaging your clutch and brake levers. So I've considered a handful of different options, and the one that I like the best as far as the way it looks is the SW-Motech options, KOBRA Handguard Kit. I love the way it looks. So let's get it installed, and then we'll do a little comparison after we get one of these on. Compare what the old one looks like compared to the SW-Motech. One word of warning here: if you do decide to order these, you're going to be in for a bit of a wait. It took almost 3 months for these things to arrive. So yeah, 79 days from order date to delivery on these little darlings. So I'm hoping it was worth the wait. Barkbusters were starting to look really good about 2 months in, but I like the way these look more. Well, I guess we'll see once they're fully mounted. So, and hopefully it's worth the wait. Let's see what happens. All right, I suppose we can, it's not really an unboxing here, but we're going to just make sure we have everything. This is really a simple process. We have the actual handguards, and mounting hardware and instructions. Pretty basic. Simple. Oh. Phillips screwdriver for that. And we have the extenders that are separate from the kit, but I thought this would be nice to add a little extra wind protection. Once again, just some very small screws for that. All right. And then the main kit, or the main hardware. I suppose this is probably the part that was delaying shipping coming from Germany. You know, you order from some of these companies direct in Europe to the US, and it's no big deal. They ship direct. You get it within a week, no problem. SW-Motech has a partner in Oregon, or just, it's not a partner, it's actually their location in Oregon. So you have to go through them. And I think it's only a couple of people there. They're doing the best they can, but between shows and trying to fulfill orders and answer customer requests, I think they're a little overwhelmed. So let's see. Oh, new bar end weights. Didn't realize that would be part of it. That's nice. Those are quite heavy. I was considering ordering some additional ones, but may not need to, because there is a little vibration on the Tiger when you get up around, well, you know, up up into those speeds that you're not supposed to record while you're riding. So there's all the components. It's another, what is that, a 5? 4. Allen key, spacers, and a few more bolts. Oh yeah, they are nylock. Very good. Okay, so next is going to be removing the old ones. Honestly, one of my things I dread the most is you get the rear view mirrors just perfect, and then you have to do something like this where it's time to remove the rear view mirrors temporarily to put on new hand guards, but all right, we'll have to get out there and get them lined up just perfect again. Oh, so I guess those spacers are really just to replace the stock ones. Okay. And I do have my, in case anybody's wondering, those are the grip puppies. Another way of helping to deal with the vibration a little bit on this bike is the grip puppies. They just slide over your existing hand grips, just over the stock ones. And they do help some. I had them on my dirt bikes as well. Let's see how this goes. Put a towel down here just to be, oh, is there another piece underneath? No. Another towel down here under, just in case something falls. I don't want it scratching up the tank. And I assume the mirror is going to have to lay on this for a little bit because it's, of course, it's got the wire in there for the proximity sensor. Okay, so that's out. Yeah, there goes some of the washers. Brilliant. It's a nice bright floor though, so. Oh, and this is going to have to be disconnected at some point because it's going right through there, so. And another washer. All right, I don't know if you can see that. The wire for the prox sensor goes right through the old handguard, so there's going to be a disconnect. Maybe, I believe it's right here. Of course, it's under the reservoir, so that looks like it's going to be fun. All right, let me dig into this for a minute and we'll figure it out. Well, looks like we have to take off this reservoir here, and boy, this is a, so what are we using here? This is a 8 mil, and no, I don't remember what this was. It's another Torx, small one. And this is really the nylock on this one. There we go, it's getting loose now. How frustrating is that though? The wire for the prox light looks like it goes all the way up here, so, but there's a little plug right here that just has to be removed. But of course, to try and remove that plug, you have to shift the reservoir just out of the way. Thank you very much for the design consideration on that one, Triumph. And looks like we can just pull the plug out, but not without. Come on, you little stinker. There's probably a, oh yeah, it looks like there's a little release in there that we have to put a screwdriver in to separate these apart. So let me get that, and then we will continue. It's always those little things, you know? Anyway, this is, there's a little clip on here. Pry the clip out. As long as you have 3 or 4 hands coming out of your body, then you're fine to get these. And boom, there's the little plug. So when you know exactly where it is already, I guess it's not that tough, but oh, it's frustrating when you're trying to, anyway, you know how it is. Just about had to call the wife in here and say, hold the light. So let's get this removed. I was worried that this would suddenly go, no, I'm not going to fit through there. Okay, so that's really it. It should have taken 10 seconds and it took 10 minutes. So now it's time to start putting on the pieces for the mount. Let me see if there's a difference between left and right, and we'll get to that next. All right, for the next step, we attach the handlebars, and these are 2 different size bolts. Shorter bolt goes in the front, holds on this mounting piece that is where the actual bar will attach to. And these pieces are tapered somewhat because it's tapered handlebars. So there's a little line groove on both of these. So that line goes toward the heavier, the thicker side of the tapered bar. So we simply, and then you get these on loosely and line it up properly once. Okay. And these nuts are, of course, 10 millimeter, just like everything else in the world. And and then it is a Allen key. It's a 5 on that. So I'm just going to leave it. Maybe get a little bit of, close it up just a little. Ooh, come on. Just so that it doesn't fall off, and then we'll line it up and tighten it up once we get the bar into where it's supposed to be. All right. After reading the instructions a little bit, little spacer, was wondering what the heck this thing was for. This will go to make up for the space we lost from the OEM handguard that had some plastic in there. So the mirror will go above this once we put the mirror back on. And then we have in here 2 washers, the bar end weight, and the bar around the outside. And we have to put a little bit of thread lock. These are the 2 points that don't use nylock. So for here and here, we have to put a little bit of thread lock on here. Little, come on, there you go. Come on, little dab will do ya. And probably too much, but that's all right. Just get that started. And then we do the same thing on the outer one. Put a little dab on here. And get this one started as well. Yeah, Yeah, thank you, Mr. Towel, for catching that. Trying to get the angle right here so that the screw goes in without any complaints. All right, and that's, oops, wrong one. All right, so we get that finger tight. Well, it's already lining up nicely with the lever, so that's great. And then get everything tightened up. They do specify in the instructions, I think it's, what was it, 10 for the, if you use a torque wrench, I think it's 10 Newton meters for this one and 20 for these. I usually just go till it feels right. There's also a comment in the instructions about this wire here now is a little bit unsightly because it's now sitting on top of the brake lever. They said one option is just unclip it when you're ready, maybe before you put the mirror back on, and bring this back around and tie it back down here so it's just not extra wiring hanging out and looking ugly. I know I saw somebody else, I think it was Barkbusters, was leaving a chunk of the original plastic covering it. Another option you could go with on that. I think I'm gonna, in my case, I think I'm gonna move it around and cable it underneath. It seems like that would have made more sense to put it that way in the beginning when they first assembled it. So, all right, I'm gonna get these things tightened up and then we'll get to the actual plastic handguard. At this point, just tightening up bolts and making sure everything's nice and snug. Oh, that's rock solid. Feels good. And then for the wiring that was sitting on top, that was simply just, again, unclipped. It was another one of those fun 3 or 4-handed clip situations where you have to unlock it, pull it apart. I don't even know why there was this much excess wire, honestly. So it's right here. Can we see that? Yeah, we can see that. And so it's just tucked right here. It's still accessible if you need to work on the brakes. So now you don't have that unsightly excess cable draped across the lever here. Or whatever. And I always hate when you say something silly. Okay, so for the actual handguard pieces, they are, of course, different for each side, and the little mounting pieces are also different for each side. So they simply come on here. Let me put this where we can see. They just line up in here, and there are a number of bolts. There are a number of screws, Phillips screws that we use to attach, and see if we still have this lined up. Yeah, so I'm just going to put those cute little Phillips screws in there. Of course, I should have done this. All right, for the other side, here's a note. This is why you watch these. When you put these on before you mount them to the bike, because now you have to get creative with some of the screws because it's already mounted and a little bit difficult to get the, or you can just slide the whole thing out a little bit temporarily. Yeah, there you go, to get it started. Ooh, those are tight. So that was a bit silly to put the handguard on before mounting these things. I may have to pull it off just to get it the rest of the way. Let's see here. I think these will be okay. One of the other cool features that I really appreciate when manufacturers think ahead is this piece here, which is removable. So I know on, maybe not so much on a big adventure bike like this, but I had a Yamaha WR 250R and also a Husqvarna 701 Enduro, where you don't necessarily want turn signals. You want them street legal, but you don't want turn signals hanging out in your way. Great for catching branches and that sort of thing. And when you can put your turn signal and mount it in your handguard, it's nice and it looks really good too. You may have to listen to the occasional ladies going, you know, those aren't visible enough. I can't see it. Yeah. It's like, oh, come on. There we go. I'll have to get my little crooked piece anyway. So that is, and man, I tell you what, that is solid. In the words of Hank Hill, I tell you what, that is solid. And then, here we go, dropping again. And then one of these is going to be, I think I'll do it both ways, with and without the extender piece. Must be this one. We'll also take it up a little higher to block the wind even more. And once again, yes, this should also be installed before you mount the darn thing on the bike, but that's really nice. So, let me see if I can get a crooked screwdriver, a bent 90-degree angle screwdriver, and get these in. Otherwise, I'll end up pulling this off and make sure they're good and tight. All right. Yes, had to pull it off. It was ridiculous trying to do all these contortionist things to get the angles right to get this in here, but it's on there and it is really solid. And if I'm going to be any complaints at all, I'm going to say aesthetically, hey, great job powder coating this piece black to match the actual handguard pieces, but why isn't this a black bolt? Why aren't these pieces also made black? The bolt that goes in the end, come on. These are little details. You did a nice job on the bar end weight here, but you would expect a little more attention to detail in those areas. That's a little frustrating. We can get, as a customer, we can of course go out and get black bolts to replace these, but this is one of the reasons for going with the SW-Motech instead of the Barkbusters, is because of the appearance. And then also on the end of this, if you look at the website, it's a different type of a connection. So I guess the picture they're using on the website when you're looking at the Triumph, at the Tiger, is there's some kind of an angle that comes up to this that looked pretty cool. Not that that functionally makes any difference, but it's not quite what was expected from the pictures on the SW-Motech website. So let me get the rear view mirror mounted back up here, and then we'll do some comparison of the two together, and then we'll get the right side done. Okay, here we are with the comparison part. So I have the SW-Motech KOBRA Handguards on the left-hand side of the bike and the original stock ones on the right. So let's take a look at what it looks like from the front end. Come around the bike. I have the extenders on there as well, so extra wind protection on your hands on those cold days. Looks pretty good. Looks solid, and it's, yeah, you go down, those are going to protect you from damaging your levers and from just cracking and falling off like the stock ones do. Again, it's a bit of a shame this is bare and not powder coated like the rest of it is. A little strange on that, but that's what happens when you have to go on faith on these things. All right, then we come back around to the stock ones. You know, they look pretty, but they're completely worthless and rattling around in the wind. And as you've seen on videos, first time you drop the bike, they crack, snap right off. So from the cockpit position, this looks pretty good. Again, looks like you're going to get some extra wind protection out of that as well. So I think I will get the other one mounted now. Then ultimately the question is it worth the wait? Is it worth waiting 3 months for these rascals, or should I have just gone with Barkbusters? That's a tough call. It's really aesthetics, I guess. Barkbusters are available and you can have them delivered within a couple of days. They're available in the US. These took nearly 3 months. So I do like the look on this more than the Barkbusters, but it really would have been, again, if the hardware had matched the rest of the handguards, that would have made a big difference as well. So these are keepers, and fortunately I didn't have any tip overs or drops in the 79 days while I was waiting for them. So let's go ahead and get the other one mounted. Put a little piece of tape on there to mark the position. Maybe a little easier to line this up when I put the mirror back on. Okay, so off we go with the rear view. No extra wiring to deal with on this one, that's nice. So we go right into it. This one will be quicker. So again, the line goes to the thick side. Longer bolt goes in the back. It's a lot easier on side 2. Okay. Yeah, that's 20. Built-in torque wrench. And finally, we have what do we do on this side? We put zero extra parts. So that's it. Let me get the shot from the, oops, there goes the cap for the thread locker. So there we are. Finished product. Cockpit view for both. Feel a lot better, a lot safer about this now, going out on dirt roads, not having to worry so much about when or if I tip this bad boy over. I should only have to be worried about, oh my God, how am I going to pick it up? Not, oh my God, did I break a lever? So anyway, that's it for SW-Motech KOBRA Handguard install. Hopefully this was useful, and I guess you'll have to decide for yourself if it's worth a 79-day lead time or if you just go with the Barkbusters. I like them, look good, not that hard to install. Oh yeah, go Mud Dogs.